Hey, party people, welcome to Honest Trailer Commentaries, where today we're talking the moon. The Moonfall, to be exact. It is.
Wait, Spencer, are you saying the moon is going to fall and we have to stop
Wait.
the moon?
I'm sorry, we have to go to the moon.
If these numbers are correct, that moon is falling on this Earth if we don't get up there right now.
Can you tell me more numbers and also what that big glowing thing is at the sky at night?
It's the moon, people. I keep telling you. We're going to talk all about Moonfall. We might have some deleted scenes. I'm not sure. We're going to answer your questions and comments, so keep those coming in the chat. And we'll tease you with next week's Honest Trailer. I think by now you can probably guess what it's going to be. We put it off long enough, but we just had to sneak in a little Moonfall because, man, if ever a movie deserved an Honest Trailer or was suited to one, this was it. I know nobody saw this. No one watched this movie, but hopefully the Honest Trailer will inspire your next inebriated movie night. Because I thought this was dumb enough. You guys said during the creation of this trailer, not dumb enough. I disagree. More than dumb enough. What do you guys say?
It was dumb, but not in the way that I like dumb. Like the way that I like dumb is very specific. And I like dumb that doesn't know it's dumb, but like is fun. And this was just like math.
There was very little math. I'm sorry.
They kept talking about math.
He is doing it on a calculator while they're
it's
flying
not
through the
good
moon.
Math, but it's all like, well, the calculations of the moon and the circle around the moon and like I don't know. But I feel like we can make math sex.
Their version of math was like a diagram of the moon, like in red hitting the earth. And they're like, what does this mean? What does this mean?
Yeah, no, I actually agree with Danielle. I mean, I think that in some ways, Roland Emmerich is too good for this material. And he's trying to take this incredibly dumb thing and shape it into like a reasonable facsimile of a disaster movie. And he's very competent. He's very professional. He's done that like 8 times. So it's almost he's too good, and he's making something that actually resembles a real movie. And I almost would rather see the B movie sci-fi version of this. Like it's almost too competent for its own good. And I wish it had dug even more into the
I guess that's
stupidity of it.
Where my enjoyment splits off is that if it looks like a B movie, then then being dumb is almost expected. This looked like $100 million B movie.
That's what I mean. Like it's too slick, it's too polished to be fun.
No, when you have like Halle Berry and Patrick Wilson having to say the moon, aren't you worried about the moon crashing into Earth? Your son can wait and stuff like that's what makes it funny to me. Not just seeing Scott Kahn's cousin or something like that, and like Tara Reid the third.
I think I needed more again, and I don't like the Sharknado movies. I get it, they're fun. But I did need. It's hard to describe the line, but there is a line between this is bad and this is so bad I'm having fun with it, right. And this one didn't cross the line.
It's just bad. It's not so
bad. This one was bad enough for me that I thought it was very fun. I felt the same way.
Boring for most of the time. Like it's so caught up in the like it's trying to make the Casey character, Sam from Game of Thrones. I'm forgetting the actor. And it's got his character, and it's trying too hard to make him like funny and comic relief and give him all these beats, and it just ends up feeling
it's not, and that's funny.
No, but it just ends up feeling like I don't want it to. If it's gonna wink at me the whole time, I just want it to be purposely. Geez, I don't want the movie to wink at me. I
don't want snakes on a plane.
Yeah, like right, it's snakes on a plane. It's like it knows it's crummy, and so it's trying to be like, we'll make the action stuff good and satisfying, but then we'll wink at you all the time and let you know that we know it's cheesy and bad.
I don't know. I think
it's honestly my fault, because I go into a movie like this and I'm like, Starship Trooper me the F up. And then I get there and I'm like, it's a movie. It's trying.
Yeah,
I think I've ascended to a higher a plane of irony.
Galaxy brain.
Where watching them try to be winking at the camera and be self-aware and funny, but failing at that is as funny to me as like somebody just doing bad shtick. Like it's earnest.
Like, well, what? Like it's like the movie can't decide the movie can't decide if we're supposed to really take it seriously or not. And it's like, well, if you don't know, I don't know.
I never thought it was asking you to take it seriously. It never
Well,
once
it-
did I
oh,
think.
come
that this-
on.
All right.
It totally is.
not a single moment.
It really is. Like when it's like, oh, I gotta get back to my kids. It's like, come on. I who cares? This is
Yeah, well, but the way they would do that is like, I can't go to the moon. My son just stole a car, and he's like, he's in a police chase with the cops right
but
now.
but it's not a fun.
The moon
police
can wait.
chase.
What's that?
But it's just a slog. It's just like a C story in a throwaway movie. It's not a fun police chase.
No, it's ridiculous. To me, it's ridiculous because a more serious movie would be like, my son has like some troubles with school, or like, oh, he like is talking. You would have some scene that dramatizes
exactly
that.
what
They're
a
like, let's see,
disaster
bad
movie would
son,
do.
bad son. Let's see, what can
He
he
led
do?
the cops on a chase and got arrested, and now you got to go bail him out. And he, for some reason, in the beginning of the movie, he talks exactly like Riff from West Side Story, but then he abandons it after like 3
Oh yeah, that
scenes.
kid.
Okay,
is
well,
jacked
Like,
up.
in the
I'm
beginning,
calling-
he's literally a jet. Like he's like a 50 street tub.
Yeah.
Like, yo,
Okay.
cops, come on, I don't care.
I'm
don't
calling
give a
time
flip.
as the judge of this movie fight. I've decided I'm calling time. Both of you have really good points. This is a really hard decision. But on this one, I'm going to put my bias aside and side with the guy who sends my checks. So I'm going with Spencer on the
Yeah,
time.
that
Oh,
Which
wow.
is all. But this is what happened on actual movie fights. Exactly.
Talk
how
about, I
those
never
used to
won
go.
that shit. Yeah. Well, we'll get into how
behind the
Yeah.
fight. Yeah,
how
do that later.
Yeah, we'll do that at the end of the episode. Let's watch Moonfall.
I wanted the.
Oh no, my vocal booth is leaking oxygen. Gotta save as many brain cells as I can. Is there a simpler movie we can do this week? Moonfall. That's just stupid enough to work. Quick, hand me the script.
So pause. I think I tried this, at least starting a draft with this same concept for one of the Fast movies. I feel like that's another
Yeah.
another one that it would have worked for.
But see, the Fast movies, what's perfect about them, why they're so great, or at least when they were, they've sort of abandoned this principle, but like not self-aware. Like, no, these movies are about love of family, not in an ironic, winking way, in a very sincere Dom loves his family way. And like now with Roman starting to be like, hang on, you're telling me we survived it? Like they're starting to lose it, and I'm upset about it. Like they should go back to the peak, like Fast Five, where it's like no acknowledgement that this is silly. We're taking it 100% serious.
And that is so when I talk about like bad movies that I love, that is part of the criteria, is like it has to be sincere.
Yeah.
Like obviously it's got to be bad. It's got to have spectacle and like wildness. The dialogue and the acting has to like be struggling, even if they're good actors, and it has to be sincere. It's like a huge.
Well,
This-
yeah,
this is
Fast.
too
There's
jokey.
no shortage of sincerity in the Fast movies, and they will go back to that when they go back in time. In Fast
I hope
X.
so. I hope so.
so
I hope
bad.
this is. I hope F9 was as far as they're ever going to go in the meta winking direction, and now they go back to the I
And
doubt that, but I hope
The
Stealing
last
DVD
two
players, yeah.
movies?
that's what I hope happens. But I doubt. it.
All right, keep going.
Why is this written in crayon? Never mind, it'll have to do. Getting dumber with each breath. Make trailer go now. Director Roland Emmerich, hate world. His movies make everything explode, but with nothing left on Earth to boom. Now he blow up. Moon. Moonfall. Brain can't think. Oh well. The moon falling, and it looks scary.
We should pause on this,
America.
Spenny,
Yeah,
because we're doing a thing that in this trailer. I love how I've just decided that I'm the host now.
you
of-
please. I'd
This
love
trailer's
to love a
great.
day off.
Okay, listen, take it.
Wow, this is what happens when you have a migraine friend. So you just start having migraine halo thoughts. So Spenny, I think that like since we're doing a different thing for this trailer,
Yeah.
you want to talk about how you came up with the direction and the voice that Honest Trailer Guy is doing.
Yeah. I mean, here's what I did. Lon, you did a great set of notes.
I sent you a full, not dopey voice, like regular voice pass.
Yeah. I dopified it by 50%. And then I dopified it by another 50%.
Yeah, it's actually, I noticed that. Like, the outline of what I had written is like mostly still there. It's just been like a thick layer of like dumb has been, and so like.
And there was a moment where I thought, is this too dumb? Before we gave it to John, because I took out even more. What are those small words called? Is
articles. Articles. Yeah.
I took out, I thought, like almost all of them, and then only ended up adding back in a few because I was worried it would just he would just sound like Unfrozen Caveman trailers, which is
right. I think when I read the script, my only concern was like, is this going to be like annoying? Like, are we going to do it like it's a clever conceit, but you do it too much? I don't mean to call anybody out, but there was that guy who used to write, and his whole conceit on Twitter was he's writing very thoughtful, clever film reviews, but as Hulk.
Oh, is that? Yeah.
And you would now he writes normally, but like it was like clever, but after a while you were like, I wish I could just read this in English instead of in Hulk. And sorry, Hulk.
I like that Hulk.
I was where now Film Crit Hulk writes like normally and is a great follow. Yeah. But that I was worried about that with this. Like, is this going to be annoying for 3-4 minutes? But no, I think it's not.
And it might be. You be the judge. But
well, I didn't think so. But you may differ.
I think it rode the line between like because you have just enough articles where it's like not whole time talk this. You know what I mean? I think that would have gotten old.
Probably. So you tell us though. You're the audience. We're just here to we'll make every trailer sound as dumb as this. I feel like that's a better early draft to me would be in this dumb voice, and then we can make it sound smart rather than the other way around, because then you have to get at the core of what the film is really about.
Yeah, right. I mean, if I had started with write it in a dopey voice for like as if he's an idiot, I think you would start by whittling it down to like the essential point.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm doing for every Oscars trailer from now on.
Parasite movie.
Family death. Girl sing. That's honest.
That's honest. It's the honest trailer.
All right, let's keep going.
Says, why not nuke Moon? But first, 3 astronauts try to save it with a little help from China.
The Chinese are offering their prototype moonlander.
China good. Halle Berry, nice
so
NASA lady.
We need to just talk a little bit about, people have been asking in the chat. Keith Frazier asks, I hope you discuss how this movie was funded. It's significant that Emmerich can apparently no longer count on studio funding. This is an independent film, by the way. Some firm put in like $100 million, and then the other one was, I think, Tencent, right? The Chinese company.
Yeah, well, it might be a company owned by that. It's one of like HK Brothers, or I think.
Oh yeah, there's the Huai. Not the Shaw Brothers. The Huai Tencent Entertainment. Huai Tencent.
Right. That's Tencent. Yeah. So I would say like that production company, I think, might be owned by Tencent. But
right. So look, between that and the constant plugs for Kaspersky security software throughout the film, and the just general incompetence of the U.S. military and space program. Look, I'm not mad at it, but this was one of the most anti-American movies I've ever seen. Like, they are totally bumbling. They keep trying to nuke the moon. Everybody, there's the most heroic Chinese exchange student who keeps saving children. And China donated us a moon lander, and the thing that they're plugging throughout the film is like a banned security software because it's like a key logger for Russia or something like that. Like, bravo.
There's a scene where they purposefully leave it, like they have a whole aside where the babysitter, who's like an exchange student from China, is teaching her charge, I believe Halle Berry's kid, or maybe it's Patrick. No, it's Halle Berry's kid.
Halle Berry.
Mandarin, like they have a whole like a little mini Mandarin lesson, like the kids learning Mandarin, and it's even like subtitled. And I was like, that's even, was it just to work in actual dialogue in Mandarin in the movie maybe? Or do they like the idea of an American learning to speak their language instead of, the other way around, which would be the convention in a lot of American movies? I don't know. It was interesting. There definitely seemed to be more than, like, a lot of American movies have there's a shout out to China or a scene in Shanghai or something.
Yeah.
But this reminded me more of the Meg was the last one that felt like this, where it was like, let's put a whole sequence where we like go to China, or like we got to have a whole segment of the film dedicated to shouting out our Chinese.
Well, the thing about her character is that it wasn't until about halfway through where they say like, you're an exchange student. And otherwise, like, I didn't know why this 30-something-year-old Chinese lady was living in Halle Berry's house and she's divorced. I'm like, did she leave her husband for her? Like, she's raising the kids. What's happening?
I will say that I did assume that she was like a nanny, but it was also like, it was interesting because obviously, like, more people look different. Great movie. Well, now I'm talking like the fucking trailer. More people look different.
More
great
people
movie.
look different.
Yeah,
good.
People fight
good.
Moon. Moon crash. Fight.
You could cut. You should have cut all of the children's stuff. I don't.
Cut kids out of film.
Yeah. I mean, we're gonna get to this in the trailer, but obviously, at some early point in the development of the Moonfall screenplay, they were like, well, we have to have a story that's happening on Earth.
On Earth.
We have to cut from the space. Most of the movie's a space mission, but we have to be able to cut from them in space back to Earth so we can see chunks of moon hitting Earth. That's the payoff. It's a disaster movie. And so this was the best they came up with, and they did not do a good job. Like, needed some more compelling stuff happening than just, our kids are there and they're running away.
From the rednecks, we need to. Well, let's get into that later. Let's keep watching. There's a whole redneck thing that I thought was Connor O'Malley, but it wasn't.
Oh, it would have been so much better if it was Connor O'Malley. What a miss.
And also Mom, Patrick Wilson's sad NASA man, and also Dad.
Well, pause. I just want to talk about Connor O'Malley being the guy on Earth. It's like, the moon's falling. We got to get all the oxygen.
No. People know about the moon. Moon's gonna fall to Earth.
Riding around with the selfie stick that he always uses.
On a bike with a selfie stick.
Watch his videos if you don't know what we're talking about.
Look
I guess on Twitter or Instagram or
YouTube.
Yeah.
I think he posts them on YouTube.
I think YouTube. Also, I'm sorry, I can't get it out of my brain. No one else will get this reference, but I have to like purge it. Every single time that I hear like "Let the Moon Fall Down," I think of that Duff song that's "Let the Rain Fall Down." So every time someone says
that
I'm
Duff
like,
song,
"Let the moon fall down," I can't
onto Earth.
Yeah, it's interesting because I always go immediately to Adele's "Skyfall." Like immediately, I was like, "Let
you do a better song."
Nice.
That's a much better song.
Yeah. All right, keep playing. I'll think about what song it reminds me of.
No other favorite Sam. He eat pills and say funny words.
Fuss Aldrin.
Cat. Enjoy movie that won't let you forget. Where is Moon?
We have to go back to the moon. We have to see what's going on up there.
I got a lot of my own problems down here.
And the moon falling onto Earth isn't one of them?
The moon is rising.
Gravity's gonna go crazy.
And let you know, are heroes inside Moon now?
Does he mean
pause?
Inside the moon?
Okay, now every time they say the moon is rising, I think of Blacksmith Mombasa, like that band where it's like the moon is dancing. But this is like Halle Berry has never taken a science class, does not know what a moon is, and that's okay. We all have our talents, and her talent is acting, not mooning.
I've never seen Monsters Ball, so I can also say I've never seen her be good in anything.
Oh,
she was great in Boomerang. That's not fair.
I'm sorry.
Boomerang.
I'm sorry. I don't think she's a really good actress. If you take just looking at the numbers of the amount of films she's been in and the amount of
Halle Berry for this, you can't pin this on.
But I'm just saying, this is not like I don't know. What is her rep at this point? Is she supposed to be a prestige actress slumming it, or is this just what she does now, or has always done?
I think the understanding is, I think she exists in a. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, she's a crime-free Cuba. Gosh darn it.
A crime-free Cuba?
Cuba
Cuba
Gooding Jr.
Gooding Jr.
Jr. if he had turned out to be a bad guy.
Got it.
I was thinking more like it's almost like a Nicolas Cage in some ways, in that has done breakout prestige turns where everybody's like, whoa, she's great in this. But I think a lot of the time it like she's getting by in the Gothicas, where it's not necessarily bad. I like Gothic, but it's just like she's good in a like weird B movie genre thing that, you know, like is not necessarily praiseworthy as a film, but she's memorable in it, you know. Like,
now you've mentioned
there's a lot of those. There's a lot of backs out there in the world, you know.
You've mentioned Gothica, and so now I have to mention that time that dude from Limp Bizkit, Fred Durst, did that cover song of Behind Blue Eyes that cast Halle Berry as the lead.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very clearly, just so he could kiss Halle Berry.
Of course.
Awesome.
I have to mention it. I can't do it every time. I have to do it every time you bring it up.
Like even like last week, there was that movie, The Call, that like randomly was #1 on Netflix. That like catalog movie with her. I think there's a lot of those where it's like, that's a memorable Halle Berry turn and a memorable wig, but like it's not a great movie. It's just.
I think you're right. The Nick Cage comparison is pretty much there because there's high highs and low lows.
Exactly.
I'm just thinking the lows are so low because it's like she's in movie 43, Catwoman, obviously.
But Catwoman, like you can't pin the badness of Catwoman on her. She's going for it. She's going for it. You know, like it's just crummy material.
I very much look forward to her CBS series.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right, keep going.
I think we're inside the moon.
Are we dead? No, we are just inside the moon.
And also, moon may be falling, but hey, moon not all bad.
Save the moon, save Earth.
The moon is going to help us!
You're part of the moon now.
Moon good. Science hard, but not in Moonfall. All you need is calculator.
See if the moon can pull us the rest of the way. Casey, can we do it? Come on, buddy.
Like how spaceship can launch with no ground crew.
Look.
Missing engine.
How do you feel about flying the shuttle with only 2 engines?
During tidal wave. Or when they fly to the moon and get close to star inside.
That's a white dwarf.
Without melting. Or eye protection. All to learn Moon's ancient secret. Aliens. Or, we are aliens.
So the aliens that built the moon, our ancestors.
And Alexa evil. So we escaped in Moon. Alexa,
so pause.
Stop.
Something we didn't really get a chance to get into, but it is an excellent point, is that KC, the conspiracy theorist, who is not a real doctor, and you see like he's got a wall of crazy at home where it's like all National Enquirer and stuff like that. He's just just like an internet fan of mega structures. Yeah. He turns out to be right about every single thing that's ever happened regarding the moon and our place inside it.
It's like imagine if the first half of the movie it was just like a flat Earth guy and everybody was making fun of him. And then the second half of the movie we discovered everything the flat Earth guys have been saying has been true all along and the Earth really is flat, but it never explains, but how did they figure it out? Like they're just making stuff up. So if you explain that they were right, you have to have like, well, but so they weren't making stuff up. What was the thing? This movie does not bother with that step. It's like, no.
I'm sorry. All I can think about now.
He just knew the moon was hollow.
Well, Lon, we got to write the Flat Earth disaster movie where it turns out the Earth is flat, and it's just called tilt or something like that. The gravity is off.
Well, there's an asteroid that's like coming up from below one side, and it's knocking us off of our delicate x-axis. And so everything's starting to slide off the Earth, and we've got to like push that side back down.
Yeah,
I think they're trying to do a Randy Quaid thing where it's like, oh well, everyone thinks that they're nuts, but then in the end, they're right. There's aliens.
Right.
And it's like, look, there are probably other sentient life forms in the universe because the universe is like super duper big. The moon's like the moon, y'all. Like, you know,
you gotta have. They're missing that scene where like he sees the thing or he figures out the calculation that no one else figured out. It's like, wait a minute, the only thing that makes this make sense is if the moon is hollow and there's a bunch of evil Alexas inside.
He sort of did that at the beginning.
He just kind of puts that together. Like,
yeah, he's just a janitor at, I guess, UC Irvine.
Yeah,
which is a funny choice.
He's Goodwill hunting it. He's
and he's also got like a bunch of different jobs. So good for him, the gig economy, you know.
Yeah.
He also sells pastrami.
At the fast food place. At the pastrami place that puts like barbecue sauce on their pastrami. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I put this in my notes. Amazingly, Spencer, you did not get around to this, but he's at the window, and it's a pastrami drive-in place. You know, those drive-in pastrami places.
It is California. Let's be fair.
And the woman
Johnny's
is like,
pastrami.
And the woman is like, "What kind of sauces do you have for the pastrami?" And he says like barbecue and ranch and like one other, and it's like, a nice spicy brown mustard. Yes. Who's put ranch on your pastrami?
Movie ruined. Someone got fired for that blunder.
Took me right out. That's the most unrealistic thing about Moonfall right there. Who's putting ranch on their pastrami?
All right. Keep playing. And also go get Johnny's pastrami. It's great.
Stop!
Not today.
Culver City, I think.
Yeah.
But movie not all about Moon. Real Moon is family we made along the way. Because back on Earth, divorced astronaut son is in danger. And other divorced astronaut son is also in danger.
Okay,
now,
pause. Yeah, so they were in danger from, were they the same, sorry for calling them hillbillies, but they're like pickup truck bearded guys who are like, get them. So
yeah,
I'm sorry. I feel like if they had names in the script, it was like Ryan, a hillbilly.
Yeah.
There'd be rednecks, not hillbillies.
Oh, excuse me. Yes.
Yeah.
Because they're in Colorado, right?
Yes.
Well, hillbillies would be Appalachia. That like these are red.
Okay, so they're just townies. They're Colorado townies.
Yeah.
And why are they trying to hijack the oxygen? What is that going to give them? Like an extra hour before they suffocate? Like what's the
really
end game there?
There's a lot of people in this movie that are they're like dedicated to their bad low level jobs. So like the world is like the moon. You could visually see chunks of the moon breaking off and coming and hitting Earth and killing thousands. But they're still like security guards are still working. Like they're just like, I gotta finish this shift, you know. And those guys are carjackers who are like that committed to carjacking that they're like literally about to suffocate. The world is dead, and they're still like, one more, we can carjack this one last guy.
Yeah.
Hey, but like to be fair, if you're playing a video game, which this movie clearly is, if you're playing a video game and you want to like, if you're Sonic and you're like, oh no, boop, 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 and you're like falling where there's no oxygen, you got to climb up and get oxygen, and you know it's not going to last very long, only until it's another bloop, 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 bloop.
Yeah, you got to find another bubble.
You got to go do it. You got to find another bubble.
That makes sense. The other thing that I love science-wise about this film was so the moon, as they say out loud, is it's making gravity go crazy, right? Everything's like floating up in the air. You're losing your hold on the Earth, and they take shelter from the gravity in a tunnel.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
they get into the tunnel and they're safe, and nobody's like they're not all stuck on the roof of the tunnel. Like, I can't get down from here because that would look stupid, but that is what would happen.
It's understanding these pockets of gravity are always like really like the moon is very big, but the pockets of gravity are always like 1 square mile or less. Like it's really inconsistent how it's affecting gravity. They don't. None of this is like figured out. I have to feel like if the moon got that close to Earth, you'd just be sucked out into space or something.
I think I think I read a little bit about this, and the moon would never get that close to Earth without just completely breaking apart and turning. It'd be like a ring around Earth. We'd have like moon bits everywhere.
But if you're in that tunnel, you can recreate the dancing on the ceiling video from Lionel Richie, and that's fun.
Yeah, everybody.
If they just drop that in the middle of the movie, that would next level.
And look, I resisted using a Breaking 2 reference. I'm growing and learning. I'm growing and learning.
I expect 2 more by the end of this video. Okay, keep playing.
Pens all on new Lexus.
All right, let me put this baby in the warp speed. Go, go!
Lexus good. And Chinese exchange student.
You don't leave people behind, okay?
China strong. And that's all, because Roland Emmerich hates Earth. But Roland Emmerich hates stepdads more.
Yeah, pause. I thought there'd be more stepdads in his filmography, but it is just divorced couples. There's a lot of like distant father figures who like haven't been there, but through this disaster need to like reconnect with their child.
That's
so
the classic disaster movie trope is the bad dad. I mean, because even like Spielberg's War of the Worlds, you get a bad dad. Like that's just the bad dad is like always reliable, you know, like you have a perfect opportunity to make up for being a bad dad, you know?
Yeah.
Save him from the zombie.
But at least in this one, Michael Pena got like a nice like heroic send off, although it was like, hey, maybe I'll take a breath, you take a breath, whatever. He could have made it. But 2012, I remember they just murked the guy out of nowhere just to free up space for dad to get mom again at the end of the movie.
Got a real Parent Trap vibe going on. Like, we got to get these couples back together.
Hey, Earth in ruins, but dad can plow mom again. Evens out. So buckle up for adventure that will make you scared of large ball in sky at night. Because inside that is robot cloud that bangs your face. But don't be too scared. We have enough problems here on ground. In fact, nobody in movie seems to get too worried.
Let's keep going.
How did you get out?
Dad got me.
Also, nobody in real life seems to care.
We should get started.
Get started with what?
It thinks it's a franchise.
Pause.
So audacious to end the movie on that line.
You might as well. What do you have to lose?
Good for you. Good for
Super
you.
Mario Brothers ended with that. You know,
it's a very bold choice. It's also they never even pause for a moment to unpack. The movie ends on a real existential nightmare for KC.
For KC,
he dies inside the moon, his physical corporeal form. But we learn that the supercomputer AI that powers the moon. There's a supercomputer AI that powers.
Yeah, we've been there, done that.
Has downloaded his consciousness and so he now a virtual version of him, but one that feels like it's just him. Like as far as he consciously can tell, he's just still alive and now inside the moon. He just doesn't have a
with
body
his mom and cat.
Well, but it's not his mom.
His
with his moon mom.
It's right. The computer has read his mind and his memories and created a projection of his mom.
Right.
And really,
but it never scanned his mom.
Yeah, his consciousness is just locked inside the moon with this AI for all eternity, billions of years. The moon's been there for. The moon created the Earth. We learned in this movie, so it's been there for the entire life cycle of this planet. Like that. That's a nut. He seems like excited to be there, and it's like this would get old in like a day.
Well, I mean, Casey is not only the most important person on the planet Earth, he is also the most important person and most entertaining person in this movie, as the movie would like you to know.
And he's the only.
And he's also the moon.
The
I want to see where this would go in the sequel.
My god! I think you have to he'd be great. Like by the next one, it's like been a year and he's just.
I'm the moon now. I have become the moon. Oh man! And we'll do our pitches later. Let's finish the trailer.
Funny. Starring worst astronaut since Diaper Lady, Stat Woman, Samuel Starley. He's Brian's son. Let's call him, I don't know, Sonny. She can do it. May the moon be ever in your favor. Okay, so I'm at the planetarium benefit. Right? And the scientists are telling me that the moon turns out on a moon.
Hold on. When Donald Sutherland rolls out with a gun, and then it's like, they're lying to you about the moon. And then you just never see him again. That's a huge start to just be in one scene.
The implication is he's about to commit suicide. And then he gets a visitor and he's like, better go tell him about the moon. And then at the end of his conversation, he's done telling her about the moon. And he's like, all right, I got to go back to my desk. I got some business to take care of. It's like, are you being cutesy about you're about to kill yourself?
I don't think he did. I think they wanted to keep the door open for him being like a moon.
Sequel. Right. We don't hear a gunshot. We don't hear, but he says like, now if you excuse me, my microwave Johnny cakes right. No, that's what he said. He goes, now if you'll excuse me, I have some unfinished business in my office and we've seen the gun. So we in the audience are supposed to be like, oh, he's going to go blow his brains out. It's such a weird, the energy on it is very weird. Also, his like the guy who works the front desk is like assistant still working. The world's about to be destroyed. Can I help you?
Whatever message board they're all on, I want to like that would have been a great like they do those tie-ons where it's like log in here. No one would have done it because no one cares about this movie. But if they would have done one of those where it's like you can read like a couple of pages of this weird message board where a bunch of these dudes hang out, I'd read that board.
Yeah, if this movie had its elrataelada.com.
Exactly, that should have been like, part of the promo material.
Secret.
But
I would have done it.
Oh well. Okay, let's keep going.
Ever in your favor. Okay, so I'm at the planetarium benefit, right? And these scientists are telling me that the moon, turns out, not a moon, okay? Actually, it's a megastructure, right? And it's filled with these tiny little robot guys, right? And they're gonna crash the moon into Earth, like kill us all, right? Looming apocalypse. So anyway, Halle Berry, yeah, bro, Catwoman. But on the costume, just like regular fine Halle Berry. So she
needs to do that in every movie, I'm sorry.
Scale.
I didn't notice how often he does this.
How about Fly? White Rock Down.
What would Elon do?
Call you a pedo for trying to help?
Oh yeah, there's so much Elon and SpaceX, wankery in this one.
There's I think 3 different lines where it's just like, gotta love that
Elon
Musk,
SpaceX.
Right? I was thinking maybe he let them like they shot a sequence or 2 at SpaceX, or he let them use some B-roll or something. That was my guess. Is like he did them a favor. SpaceX contributed something, and so they were like, "We'll thank him by."
I think this is
or it's just pandering, or maybe it's just pure pandering.
I honestly, I had the same thought as Lon, where it was like, oh well, maybe this is like Captain Marvel's like Air Force, where it's like, well, now we're gonna hear a bunch about the Air Force because they like to let us use
like they have a shot of like a the field where they're setting up the shuttle launch and like that's SpaceX's facility. That was my
yeah. It sucks either way.
Like if it was Blue Origin, it would be like, oh, that Jeffrey Bezos, what a hero.
Let's see what brilliance we cut out of the Moonfall honest trailer.
Starring Astronaut Safe for Work. Another one fights the dust. Moonster's Ball. Do you know what happens to a planet when it's struck by the moon? The same thing that happens to everything else. #Moonanon. Cosmic Relief. Adventures in Babysitting. He's got space dementia. Majora's Mask. Gravity Falls. Another moon hides the dust.
Come on.
That's very funny. There's the one that didn't make it in the deleted scenes is at the beginning, John is like struggling to breathe and he's getting dumber and he says, maybe Red Notice good. Which made me laugh, but I think we had to be clear that it was affecting him cognitively. So all right, so let's see, let's take a couple questions here. Levetto asks, do you enjoy more doing honest trailers for dumb movies you can make fun of or movies you like and nitpicking silly things in them? I'm on team dumb. Danielle, you like nitpicking things you like?
I think that I feel better about it. Like as a person, like personally. No, I like both of them. I think they're both fun. I think it's more of a challenge to nitpick things that I like. And so I like the challenge of it, of being, because it is nitpicking. And so it's like, oh, I know that this is dumb and like whatever. Whereas a movie, it's like this, it's like, oh God, where do I start? You know what I mean? Like it feels like it's a lot more, these feel harder because it's the entire movie.
I would rather feel where do I start than where do I start? Like I can't think of anything, which happens sometimes. Especially mostly the hardest ones are definitely Pixar and like Pixar. Yeah. Pixar's the hardest one.
Yeah, prestige dramas. Shawshank was very hard for me.
Like we could have done Turning Red this week, but I don't know. I just didn't.
It's not only stuff that's good. That's what I was gonna say. It's the Pixar hits both. It's stuff that is similar to a lot of other stuff and that is good. Like I even feel this way about Marvel movies a lot now. Like if you're of a pretty high level of quality and we've done 15 other movies in your same sort of like genre quadrant corner of the market, it does sometimes it's a little bit hard to be like, well, what do we say? We've kind of summed up what this is a whole bunch of times now. I don't know how we like go back. Like I'm starting to get that way with like legacy sequels. It's getting hard because it's like, well, we've done the like this honors the legacy of the thing a bunch of times. So I think that's the hardest, whether it's good or bad. If it's different enough that it doesn't feel like everything else we've ever done, I think that's easier because you got like an easy way in.
Yeah.
Like this next week, I won't give it away. I really like the movie, but it's a very like weird idiosyncratic kind of movie that's not exactly like every other movie. So it was pretty easy to come up with stuff to say about it.
There you go. There's a little pre-clue for you. And then we'll end on this. Cody Smith asks, is this a good candidate for dumb movie night heckling? I say yes. They say no.
No, I agree. I actually agree. Yeah.
I mean, it's easy to heckle. It's almost too easy to heckle.
No, but like, look, we also have to, sometimes you just want to like drink and get high with your friends and you don't want to be on, and you can just like watch a movie and make fun of it. And so this
take
is
a
like
shot
a great movie
when they say moon.
Also,
it's a low impact thing to heckle. I agree with that.
I think it's great. I think it's a really good like heckleable movie because you don't have to think about it. Just have fun, get high. You and your friends will laugh. It'll be
agreed.
It's a fun one. Yeah.
And then finally, Nate Turtle says, please do Turning Red and be sure to mention the cultural impact of 9/11. I think that's that thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, why does it like listen, if you are young and you weren't alive then, or like like you weren't in school, you weren't old enough to be like in society, I guess you wouldn't know that people just went about there. Like it was a topic of conversation, but it wasn't like life didn't go on. And by the next
in Canada,
like kids weren't.
You still have to go to work.
Again. Yeah,
still have
like
to go to
6
school.
months later, life had resumed. I
mean, as we see in the movie, even when the moon is falling, you still got to do your shift. You still got to jack your
People are still going to
like.
There's the lady working the NASA gift shop showed up for work that day. Listen.
I think most children's movies should just pause to honor moments of national tragedy.
No, we'd never get through the movie.
I mean, it's not even 2001. The craziest thing is it's set in 2002. It was it's a whole year later. It's not like it's set on September 13th and no one mentions it.
I should rewatch that. Isn't there a Nick Cage 9/11 movie?
World Trade Center.
Oh, well, there you go. But isn't there?
There's also a Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. That's the one.
Yeah.
That's
There's
the
also
good one.
Pattinson.
Yeah,
Good one.
I think it's time.
Yeah,
just watch every.
Cage is a first responder in World Trade Center.
Yeah, well, that Robert Pattinson 9/11 movie is your clue for next week's Honest Trailer. I think you can get it from there. So much fun talk with y'all. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next week for another dose of Honest Trailer commentaries. See ya.